Did you know that you might be embarrassing yourself every day with aging habits that everyone notices but are too polite to mention? Think about it. Your family members exchange those knowing glances, your grandchildren suddenly have other plans, and conversations awkwardly trail off when you enter the room. What if I told you there are specific aging behaviors you're displaying that are silently destroying your relationships and social dignity? In this video, I'll reveal these 6 ugly aging habits and show you exactly how to fix them immediately before they permanently damage your social life and dignity. Let me tell you about Stanley, a 67-year-old retired accountant who couldn't understand why his social circle was rapidly shrinking. His grandchildren started making excuses to avoid their weekly dinners. Friends stopped inviting him to gatherings. Even his own daughter seemed to rush through their phone calls. Stanley was devastated and confused, until one day, his 12-year-old grandson accidentally left his phone recording during a family dinner. When Stanley played it back later, he was shocked at what he heard and saw. He'd been loudly repeating the same stories, complaining constantly, and displaying habits that made everyone around him uncomfortable. This accidental recording was a painful awakening, but it changed everything. Stanley made immediate changes to the 6 habits I'm about to share with you, and within weeks, his relationships dramatically improved. Are you unknowingly pushing people away like Stanley was? Let's find out. Habit 1. Repetitive storytelling and outdated references. The first ugly aging habit is constantly repeating the same stories and using outdated references that make others cringe silently. Have you ever noticed people nodding with that glazed look in their eyes when you're mid-story? That's the polite mask they wear while thinking, "I've heard this exact story 5 times already." Neuropsychologists at Johns Hopkins University explain this happens due to specific memory consolidation changes in the aging brain. Dr. Amanda Reynolds, a leading memory researcher, reveals that as we age, our brains strengthen certain neural pathways to long-term memories, making them more accessible than recent events. This biological change makes older adults unaware they're repeating themselves. What's truly devastating is that research shows people will stop engaging with you altogether rather than tell you about this habit. Take Violet, a 73-year-old retired teacher who prided herself on being the life of the party. Unknown to her, she had been telling the same 5 stories at every gathering for years. Her friends started creating excuses to avoid her calls, and her weekly lunch group suddenly disbanded, except they continued meeting without her. One day, her grandson Jacob gently recorded how many times she told the same story about her trip to Yellowstone in a single afternoon, 7 times to 5 different people. When he privately showed her the video, Violet was mortified but grateful. She hadn't realized what she was doing. Here's what you must do immediately to fix this. First, create a story tracker in a small notebook or on your phone. After sharing an anecdote with someone, jot it down with their name. Before starting a story, quickly check if you've told it to that person. Second, practice the new information rule. For every old story you share, you must also discuss something that happened in the past week. And third, most urgently, ask a trusted family member today, not tomorrow, today, if you have this habit. The temporary discomfort of asking is nothing compared to the social isolation this habit creates. Are you brave enough to ask them right now? Habit 2. Neglecting personal hygiene and appearance. Are you unknowingly repelling people with age-related hygiene issues everyone notices, but no one has the heart to tell you about? This second ugly habit might be the most embarrassing one of all, because everyone can see and smell it except you. Research from the American Geriatric Society shows that after age 60, our sensory perception significantly decreases, particularly our ability to smell ourselves and see certain details. Dr. Lawrence Chen, Director of Sensory Studies at Columbia Medical Center, explains, by age 65, we've lost approximately 50% of our smell receptors, and this percentage increases with each passing year. This biological change means many seniors are completely unaware of body odors, food stains on clothing, or other hygiene issues that are immediately apparent to others. Consider Howard, a 78-year-old widower who couldn't understand why his grandchildren stopped hugging him or sat increasingly distant during visits. His daughter-in-law, Amanda, struggled for months about how to address his declining hygiene. Eventually, she took a photograph of him when he wasn't aware and gently showed it to him, revealing stained clothing, unkempt hair, and other issues he literally couldn't see. Howard had no idea. After his wife passed, he simply couldn't detect these changes in himself. The realization was painful, but transformative. You must implement this daily dignity checklist immediately. First, set a recurring daily alarm labeled Dignity Check and spend 3 minutes examining your clothing for stains, appropriate fit, and current styles. Second, ask your doctor this week about age-related sensory decline and whether you need more frequent bathing or stronger hygiene products. Third, place hygiene reminder notes in your bathroom and bedroom. Our short-term memory changes make daily routines more easily forgotten. Finally, and this is crucial, identify a dignity buddy, someone you trust, who will honestly tell you when something needs attention. Would waiting another day to implement these changes be worth the quiet embarrassment you might be causing right now? Habit 3. Excessive complaining and negativity. The third ugly habit is toxic negativity that's scientifically proven to drive away even loving family members. Do you find yourself frequently pointing out what's wrong with the world, how things were better in your day, or how everything is getting worse? This habit is silently poisoning your relationships. Psychologists at Harvard University found that chronic complainers experience actual brain changes that make negativity addictive. Dr. Rebecca Thornton's landmark study on aging and social connection revealed that the single greatest predictor of social isolation in seniors isn't physical limitation or distance from family. It's persistent negativity. Her research showed that family members can tolerate most age-related changes, but excessive complaining creates unconscious avoidance behaviors, even in the most devoted relatives. Consider Elmer, a 71-year-old retired postal worker who couldn't understand why his weekly family dinners gradually dwindled from 15 relatives to just his wife. His son finally recorded a typical conversation where Elmer complained about 27 different topics in just 1 hour, from politics and weather to restaurant service and his minor health issues. When shown the recording, Elmer was shocked to realize he'd become the negative energy his family dreaded. He hadn't noticed how his conversation style had gradually shifted over the years. You must implement the positivity reset technique starting today. First, use the complaint counter method. Carry a small object, like a coin, in your pocket and move it to the other pocket each time you complain. At day's end, count how many times you switched. This creates immediate awareness. Second, institute the 3-1 rule. For every negative observation, you must express 3 positive ones before speaking negatively again. Third, practice solution-focused complaining. If you must mention a problem, immediately follow it with either a potential solution or explicitly ask, "Would you like to hear about this? Or should we discuss something more pleasant?" This simple question works wonders. How many relationships might you rescue by starting these techniques today instead of tomorrow? Habit 4. Inappropriate boundaries and oversharing. Are you unknowingly making people uncomfortable with age-related oversharing that crosses social boundaries? This fourth habit creates silent embarrassment that no one will tell you about, but everyone discusses when you leave the room. Neurological research from Stanford University's Aging Center shows that the brain's filtering mechanisms, particularly in the prefrontal cortex, naturally diminish with age. Dr. Michael Harrison explains, the aging brain experiences changes in the neural circuits responsible for social filtering and appropriate boundary recognition. This isn't a character flaw. It's a biological change that can be addressed once recognized. His studies show that 82% of adults over 65 regularly share information that younger people find inappropriate, especially regarding medical details, financial matters, or overly personal revelations. Take Beverly, a 68-year-old retired nurse who couldn't understand why her daughter suddenly stopped bringing the grandchildren for visits. Unknown to Beverly, she had developed a habit of sharing graphic details about her digestive issues, medical procedures, and intimate marital history in casual conversation. The breaking point came when she described her colonoscopy in vivid detail during her granddaughter's birthday dinner. Beverly's daughter later showed her text messages from other family members expressing discomfort. Beverly was devastated. She'd had no idea her conversation topics were inappropriate. Here's the pause and filter method you must begin using today. First, implement the 2-second rule before sharing personal information. Pause for 2 full seconds and ask yourself, would I want someone else sharing this type of information with me? Second, watch for physical cues. If people start looking at their phones, glancing at each other, or changing the subject, recognize these as signals to shift topics immediately. Third, create a safe sharing list. Identify topics that are always appropriate. Current events, positive memories, asking questions about others, versus those requiring careful consideration. Have you been making others uncomfortable without realizing it? Wouldn't you want to know now, rather than continuing this habit unknowingly? Habit 5. Technical resistance and refusal to adapt. Your stubborn resistance to new technology isn't just frustrating, it's silently destroying your relationships with younger generations. Do you proudly declare I don't do computers, or I'll never use a smartphone as if it's a virtue? This 5th habit is actively cutting you off from meaningful connection with the most important people in your life. Studies from MIT's Age Lab show that technological adaptability directly correlates with maintaining meaningful cross-generational relationships. Dr. Samantha Wilson's research revealed that seniors who demonstrate willingness to learn basic new technologies report 73% stronger relationships with younger family members than those who refuse. The science is clear. It's not about mastering every new app or device. It's about showing a willingness to participate in the communication methods your family uses. Consider Franklin, a 75-year-old retired mechanic who insisted on landline-only communication and refused to text or email. His grandchildren gradually stopped contacting him altogether. When his daughter confronted him about his technological stubbornness, he defensively claimed, "They should respect my ways." What Franklin didn't realize was that his refusal wasn't seen as principled, it was perceived as willful disinterest in being part of their lives. His granddaughter later confessed, "We stopped trying because it felt like Grandpa didn't care enough about us to make even a small effort to connect on our terms." Implement this 5-minute daily tech adaptation routine immediately. First, identify one technology that would most connect you with loved ones, usually texting or video calls, and focus exclusively on that. Second, schedule 3 5-minute practice sessions each day. Consistency matters more than duration. Third, and most importantly, explicitly tell your family you're learning and ask for their patience. The vulnerability of saying I'm trying to learn this because you matter to me is incredibly powerful. Would your family be shocked to hear those words from you? Imagine their reaction if you sent that message today instead of continuing to resist. Habit 6. Inappropriate volume control and space awareness. The final ugly aging habit is the one that most embarrasses your loved ones in public. Inability to control your volume and physical space. Are you unaware that you might be speaking too loudly in restaurants, standing too close to others, or creating uncomfortable public situations? Audiologists from the National Institute on Aging explain that age-related hearing loss distorts your perception of your own volume. Dr. Jonathan Parker states, "By age 70, most adults have lost enough high-frequency hearing that they unconsciously compensate by speaking 15 to 30% louder than appropriate for social settings." This creates a double embarrassment. The senior can't hear well enough to recognize social cues telling them to lower their voice, and they can't accurately perceive their own volume. This research explains why so many seniors are genuinely shocked when family members finally address this issue. Take Gloria, a 77-year-old retired librarian who prided herself on proper etiquette. She couldn't understand why her son's family seemed reluctant to take her to restaurants. During a birthday dinner, her grandson secretly recorded the reactions of nearby diners as Gloria loudly discussed private family matters. The video showed people at adjacent tables grimacing, moving their chairs away, and exchanging uncomfortable glances. When shown the recording privately, Gloria was mortified. she had absolutely no awareness that her normal speaking voice had become disruptively loud. You must implement these simple daily exercises to recalibrate your volume control. First, download a free decibel meter app on a smartphone, or ask a family member to do this for you, and practice speaking at appropriate levels with immediate feedback. Second, establish a private signal with family members to indicate when volume adjustment is needed. This prevents public embarrassment. Third, schedule a hearing evaluation this week, not next month, this week, because untreated hearing loss accelerates this problem dramatically. Are you brave enough to ask someone today if this is a habit you have? Now you know the 6 ugly aging habits that everyone notices but no one tells you about. Repetitive storytelling, neglecting personal hygiene, excessive negativity, inappropriate oversharing, technical resistance, and poor volume control. These habits don't define you. They're simple biological changes that can be corrected once you're aware of them. Starting today, you can reclaim the respect and comfort level others feel around you by implementing the specific solutions for each habit. Remember Stanley from our opening story. Within just 3 weeks of addressing these issues, his family relationships transformed completely. You deserve that same transformation. If you recognized any of these habits in yourself, comment below with which one you're going to fix first. Like this video if you found it valuable, subscribe for more life-changing senior advice, and share it with someone you care about who might be unknowingly facing these issues. Your dignity and relationships are worth fighting for. Take action today.